Rogers Arena in Vancouver, the third of a four-game homestand for the Canucks, the rare 4 games in 6 nights homestand. You see that on the road a lot, but not normally for your home dates. But that's what the Canucks are facing this one as they play a first-place showdown against Minnesota, and it'll feature a move back to the wing for Chris Higgins, who's been filling in admirably at center, but he'll embrace this change. Much prefers playing on the wing, and he'll do that tonight, starting on a line with Max Lapierre in the middle. And Danny Heatley starts this game for Minnesota. Heatley coming off a 2-assist performance in the last game, a 6-4 win in Colorado, and that gives him 400 helpers in his NHL career. Fans were disappointed Saturday, the Detroit game. They let the team know it at times, but back and ready to make some noise tonight. It's Luongo against Backstrom, the goaltending matchup, and we're underway with Alex Edler trying to play the puck forward. That hit the referee, Justin St. Pierre, and the puck is dumped in on Luongo, who will cover with Cal Clutterbuck in the neighborhood. There'll be a face-off in the Vancouver zone.
Minnesota starting their big line, and I mean that big physically, with Danny Heatley, as you said. Now Mike Yeo makes the change, and Alain Vigneault right away. Coaches like to see if the other coach is going to match lines as early as possible. We saw that in Minnesota, and it backfired on the Canucks right away. They changed lines and ended up giving up a goal in the first 35 seconds.
Yeo sent out the captain Koivu with Zach Parise and Charlie Coyle, and Vigneault counters with the Sedin line. Koivu not happy about being waved out. Coyle will move in to take the face-off against Henrik Sedin. And a winger win for Koivu after he moved to the wall against Dan Hamhuis, but Garrison had the puck momentarily, tried to play it around. It's over the glass. There'll be another face-off in the Vancouver zone.
Boy, it's a real art, the face-offs now, and it's hard for the linesmen. We saw Koivu there. The visiting team is supposed to have the stick on the ice first. And Koivu got waved out. The veteran linesman Brad Lazarowicz made the right call. Now here again, same thing.
Face-off's an area of concern for the Canucks, who would like to be starting with the puck more often than they have been. That one they won. Puck sent down out of the reach of Daniel Sedin. Now he gets it on the left side into the corner for Henrik. Back up the boards for Daniel Sedin. Coyle trying to check him. Henrik knocked down by Mikko Koivu. Puck comes towards Burrows, but it's past him. And dropped back by Zach Parise, now thrown forward for Koivu. And this will produce an icing call. So 3 early whistles in the game. We're only 41 seconds in, but it gives us an opportunity to check in with Murph.
Well, we'd like to remind everyone to play Safeway's $1 million score and win. If any Vancouver player scores 5 goals in tonight's game, Larry Mendez of Delta could win $1 million.
Murph's on Twitter. Did you read Tiger Woods and Lindsey Vonn? They're on Twitter announcing that they're dating. I'm sure Murph's got a tweet about that.
With a shot by Edler, stopped by the goaltender Nick Backstrom, and here's Parise chasing after the puck on Bieksa. Belated happy St. Paddy's Day to Dan Murphy.
I saw Barlow's picture with her green shirt on.
She'll come to love March 17th.
Yes, she will.
Andrew Ebbett broke his stick trying that slap shot. And Cal Clutterbuck passes to Kyle Brodziak. Ahead to Danny Heatley. Stops inside the blue line. Delays before throwing across for Clayton Stoner, who backhands the puck in behind the Canuck goal. Clutterbuck comes out with it. Cycles for Brodziak. Working on Bieksa. Brodziak nicely back. Right point. Spurgeon with a shot along to the save. And able to cover before Clutterbuck could get his stick on that. And Bieksa comes in with an extra shove for Cal Clutterbuck in front.
Well, that was a good save by Roberto Luongo because he didn't see this puck. And you get positioning. Roberto Luongo gets positioning, can't see it, it's through the maze. Kevin Bieksa and Cal Clutterbuck right in front of Roberto Luongo. He's able to make the save and hang on.
Slight delay here as they retrieve the broken stick of Andrew Ebbett. And Patty O'Neill will take possession of what is rightfully the Canucks. Cullen against Lapierre. And the puck winds up sliding out to center, driven back in by Justin Faulk. Onto it is Setoguchi. Devin Setoguchi tried to drop for Matt Cullen. That's broken up. And Chris Tanev hooks the puck up the middle. Missed his intended target, Lapierre, but the puck is outside the line to center. Pinizzato in his 3rd career NHL game bumped Faulk as the puck was played back into the Vancouver zone. Now Tanev fanned on his first pass, then handed the puck to Cullen in the blue line. Pinizzotto ties up Matt Cullen. That allows Lapierre to get the puck. Taken back by Setoguchi, whose pass is blocked, and here comes Steve Pinizzotto. Down the left side. Chips the puck in behind for Lapierre. Working on Nate Prosser, who was a late add to the lineup. Tom Gilbert scratched with a lower body injury, and Ballard with a shot stopped by Backstrom, as Keith Ballard was looking for his first goal of the season. Ballard working on Pierre-Marc Bouchard, who's able to find Zeman Konopka. Pass up the left side for Setoguchi, bounces away from him. Tanev gets the loose puck. Konopka steps into him as Tanev leaves for Dale Weiss. Ballard's pass just gets through to Weiss, fighting the puck a bit. He works it free to Higgins. Tanev at the end of his shift, ahead for Jordan Schrader. Schrader called up from Chicago today. Got out of a cab at 4:14 outside the arena, so just over 3 hours before puck drop. And back in the Vancouver lineup after a short stint with the Wolves.
Very eventful Wolves game against Rockford. Brawl in their benches.
Jim Vandermeer winding up in the opposing team's bench. It's like the Flyers and Canucks circa 1979. Glenn Hanlon and Phil Meir. And who can forget that night?
Rockford is the Blackhawks farm team.
Puck out of play in the Vancouver zone. They'll bring the face-off outside the blue line. We're just over 3 minutes gone in a scoreless first period.
Again, the coach is matching the lines early, and very disjointed start to this one. Minnesota coming off back-to-back wins against the Colorado Avalanche. Feeling very good about their game, scoring some goals.
Wild play next in Detroit against a Red Wings team that was here Saturday. And what a schedule for the Wings, who played in Vancouver Saturday, home to Minnesota Wednesday, and then they go back to Anaheim for 2 against the Ducks. Brodziak chasing after a loose puck in the Vancouver zone. Edler goes back. Tipped it free along the boards, but the exit turned away from the puck, and here's Brodziak centering. Clutterbuck stopped by Luongo. Moving to his left. First big stop of the hockey game, and he covers up.
Now, Alex Edler thought this was going to be icing, and you can see Roberto Luongo. Look at Edler. He's talking to the linesman now. Okay, it's tipped from that side. You see the linesman has his arm up there. He thinks it's going to be icing, and the other linesman waves it off. And that creates all the confusion. Both defensemen are trapped, all because the linesman couldn't coordinate the icing call.
No tangible harm done. And play resumes, the game still scoreless. Henrik Sedin after the puck in the Minnesota zone. Comes to Ryan Suter, who circles his net, passes to young Jonas Brodin, who's checked by Alex Burrows. Burrows back to the blue line. Garrison sends the puck in deep. Henrik Sedin couldn't corral it. Ryan Suter gets it by Daniel Sedin, but not by Alex Burrows. Now cleared by Mikko Koivu. Puck slides into the Vancouver zone. Back goes Dan Hamhuis. Works the puck free to Henrik Sedin. He sends it forward. Mason Raymond couldn't move it out. Brodin feeds the puck in behind the net. Henrik is there. And finds Jason Garrison ahead for Jannik Hansen. Puck got away from him at center. It's tipped back to the Vancouver line, and Hansen's there to pick it up. Chris Tanev for Dan Hamhuis. Has to track the puck down along the boards. Feeds it ahead to Mason Raymond, who tips the puck into the Minnesota zone. Justin Falk there. And ahead to Setoguchi. Didn't take it very cleanly. Pass at center intercepted by Hansen, who tried to bank the puck to himself. He was tripped up. Play goes on. And Luongo had trouble with that weak shot off the left wing from Cullen. Canucks able to clear the rebound, but not out. Setoguchi from behind the goal. Centering pass intercepted by Andrew Ebbett, and here he comes. 3 Canucks to center. Ebbett right up the middle. Onto the left wing for Mason Raymond. Raymond with a sharp angle shot, stopped by Backstrom. Puck loose at the side. Raymond pokes it free to Ebbett. Ebbett banks the puck back towards Tanev, but read well by Pierre-Marc Bouchard, who brings the puck to center and tips into the Vancouver zone. 5.5 minutes gone, no score. Shots are 4-2 for Vancouver. Tanev couldn't get the puck through to Schrader, but now he follows up and pokes it to center. Wild trying to move it back in. Tanev takes control once more and finds Keith Ballard. Cross to Weiss. Not much room in the neutral zone. He passes to Tom Cicito, who backhands the puck in. Stoner hammered by Weiss. some at the last second. And it became more of a glancing blow, but a good hit in deep, and the Canucks have the puck. Bieksa towards the net, blocked. Kanopka able to tip the puck out. Bieksa hooked by Zucker. There'll be a penalty to Minnesota. Jason Zucker heading to the box, and the Vancouver power play is up next.
Larry Mendez of Delta could win $1 million.
Here's the Dale Weiss, almost catches Stoner. And the hook into the arms of Kevin Bieksa.
Power play Canucks. Garrison with a shot off the target. New look to the Canuck first unit power play. Garrison is on it, so is Jannik Hansen. As Edler feeds Garrison, another one-time attempt, that one off the heel of his stick. But it would appear the intent to shoot more is there as this power play begins. Brodziak takes the puck away, hit Clutterbuck with his clearing attempt, but Cal Clutterbuck able to follow up and backhand the puck down the ice. The numbers, if you haven't heard them, I'm sure you have. Canucks 0 for their last 34. Their last power play goal was February 21st. 61 minutes and 21 seconds of power play time without scoring. As Hansen forces the puck in. Daniel Sedin hooks it back to Edler. Over to Garrison. He's got time, lets it go. Just missed the net. Daniel Sedin after the rebound. Beaten to the puck by Brodin, but Henrik's there in support. Minute 10 to go in the power play. Edler. Garrison will try again and couldn't make good contact. Edler round for Hansen, and that was out of his reach. Suter gets to the loose puck and shoots it the length of the ice. So numerous shot attempts from Jason Garrison, but Canucks not credited with a shot on goal on the power play yet. Still 4-2 the shots in favor of Vancouver as Chris Higgins dumps the puck in. Second unit of Higgins, Burrows, and Raymond up front. Hamhuis and Bieksa on the points. Bieksa intercepts that pass intended for Cullen, waits for his teammates to vacate the zone. Now tried to pass across for Burrows. That hit Raymond. Prosser gets the puck, knocked down neatly by Higgins. Chris Higgins into the corner for Burrows. Swings the puck around for Hamhuis, who comes down from the right point. Pass to the end boards, knocked away by Prosser. Falk gets the puck, and he's able to get it by Bieksa and down the ice.
15.
That first shot by Jason Garrison that missed the net, you could tell Nick Backstrom didn't see it at all. And it missed by about a foot.
5 seconds to go in the power play, and the Canucks trying to move the puck in. Here's Zucker out of the box. And Burrows just got high stick, it looked like. Certainly went down as if that's what happened. He's slowly heading towards the Vancouver bench. As the Minnesota Wild move the puck in, here's Brodziak with a slap shot, and he missed the net. Puck comes in front, Brodziak again, stopped by Luongo. Brodziak feeds the blue line. Brodin walks to the middle, onto the left side. Suter looking in front, pass for Heatley, deflects to the side of the net. Luongo pokes the puck free to Hamhuis. He's checked by Clutterbuck. Puck loose in the corner. Bieksa pokes it free for Pinizzato, but it comes back to Brodin. Down the boards, Pinizzato partially blocked that. Bieksa rocked off the puck by Heatley, and Brodziak's onto it. Bieksa intercepts, gets it off the glass, but not out. Suter at the blue line. Dumps the puck around again. Brodziak stick lifted by Bieksa. Puck squirts in front. Heatley shoots, and that wound up in the corner. Puck ricochets to the blue line, held in by Brodin. Charlie Coyle. Wild getting some fresh legs out there. Lapierre able to intercept, gets the puck to Weiss. He can't get it by Brodin at the blue line. Now Koivu passes to Brodin, fakes the shot, fires down for Heatley. That deflects to the near corner. Koivu's there for Minnesota. Good zone time. Coyle with a shot, along with a save, can't cover. But Lapierre brings the puck out of the pile and flips it down the ice. Backstrom will play it. A quick up to Koivu, circles back in his own zone. So the Canucks without a shot in their power play. Minnesota, after it expired, came down, had 2 on Luongo and numerous other attempts as well.
They couldn't get that fourth line off.
Ballard ahead to Henrik Sedin. He finds Chris Tanev. Now to Jordan Schrader, who's taking a turn with the Twins. Schrader to Daniel, gets in deep with a shot, and Backstrom made the save on the short side. Looked like there was room above his right shoulder, but Daniel couldn't get it up that high, and the puck is rolled down into the Vancouver zone. Halfway through the first, no score. Ballard flushed out by Cullen. Elects to play to the near side, and Bouchard intercepts that. Tanev stick broke as he was trying to knock the puck away. Ballard able to come with it, work it to Andrew Ebbett, and nicely to Jannik Hansen, who's got room on the left wing. Hansen with a wrist shot, gets his own rebound and puts it over top of the net. Hansen checked by Prosser, but comes up with the puck. Makes a power move in front. Passes back. Here's Edler. Wrist shot. Deflected. Loose. And Raymond had his stick tied up by Zenon Konopka. Raymond would have had the open side, but couldn't find that puck. Edler holds it in left point. Again towards the goal. And again over the net. This time out of play. For a whistle. And a face-off in the Minnesota zone. We wondered if Alex Burrows had been high-sticked. Well, here's Zucker coming out of the box, and Burrows fell right in front of him.
At Rogers Arena, there's Mike Birdstein, the Canucks head athletic trainer, celebrating his 1500th game. Said his first couple of years on the job, he wasn't sure what his job security was going to be like. There were coaching changes, turnover in the front office, but it seems like he's here for as long as he wants to be right now. He's forged some great friendships over the way, and he says the ones that he thinks of most: Naslund, Linden, Oland, and the Sedin twins.
There's Alex Burrows back on the ice with the Sedins. So we congratulate Mike Bernstein as well.
And one of the nicest guys in the game.
Boy, it was a baptism by fire for him, if I remember correctly. He came into the Canucks, and one of the first things he had to deal with was Pavel Bure going down with a knee injury in Chicago. And that was hardly a small news item at the time. Daniel Sedin delays. Maybe shouldn't have, because he couldn't get the pass by Brodziak. Edler there to help him out, sends the puck into the Minnesota zone. Henrik Sedin giving chase. Suter's there first. Suter, knowing Daniel was trailing Henrik, wisely didn't play the puck up the near boards, but he can't get it out the far side either. Burrows trying to make a move in front. Suter recovered to check it. Now ties up the puck along the boards as Burrows tries to dig it free. Burrows gets it. Back to Bieksa. Daniel, middle of the ice, near side. Edler, wrist one on goal, and what a stop. And Henrik looks like he got speared in front. After the glove save by Backstrom, there will be a penalty here. Brad Meyer at center's made the call as Henrik in a heap went down clutching his midsection.
That all started when Henrik stripped the puck from Ryan Suter behind the net. Alex Burrows came in support, got the puck around to the point. And here's that shot through the maze. It is incredible that Nick Backstrom was able to get it. There's a cross check from Ryan Suter.
Right to the ribs, so that's why Henrik looked like he'd been speared, but it was a cross check.
In the kidney area. I'm sure you played football as a high schooler and you had those kidney pads. Get that cross check just above the kidney pad.
Well, I mean, my athletic history is lengthy, John. We don't have time to really go through it all right now. Second power play of the period for the Canucks. They worked it around pretty well the first opportunity. Raymond a little upset. He took a shot in the back from Konopka. Comes up with words after that. There'll be another face-off in the Minnesota zone.
Canucks have been good in the face-off so far. That's one of the keys to a power play, is making sure that you win the draws. They're 6 out of 9 so far, and that's one of the reasons Konopka is out there, is to win face-off.
Canucks are going to change up the personnel here. Henrik Sedin, up until just a moment ago, was still being checked out. Second longest current Ironman streak in the NHL. There haven't been many nights something painful hasn't happened, and already in this one, that shot by Suter, but he's out to try to spring this power play to life. Wins the faceoff. Edler shoots, and that missed the net. Cullen broke his stick taking the draw. He hustles to the bench to get a new one as the Canucks set up the power play. Edler down to Henrik Sedin. Here's Edler over to Garrison. Slap shot, blocked, and then hit Hansen. And Cullen with the new stick can't make good contact on the clearing attempt. Daniel Sedin's pass intercepted by Stoner. Henrik takes the puck off in. Here's Daniel Sedin. Puck goes high in the air, comes in front, gloved away by the Wild. Henrik gets it. Behind for Daniel. Hooks the puck to the blue line to Garrison. Now to Henrik Sedin. Minute 10 to go in the power play. Daniel from the corner. Puts one in front. Right pad saved by Backstrom. Edler gets the rebound. Alex Edler to Garrison. Lets it go. That missed the net. Off Cullen, I think, and over the glass. Face-off will stay in the Minnesota end.
The best chances on the power play for the Canucks have come on shots that have missed the net. Alex Edler has a chance, and his shot, I don't know whether that was tipped just in front or just sailed high on the rolling puck.
Well, he just stood up on him, didn't it? Higgins battling for the puck, gets it back to Bieksa to take it on the backhand, but he makes a nice play to Higgins along the boards. In front, Burrows with a shot, right pad saved by Backstrom. Raymond into the far corner for Dan Hanhus. Centering pass, knocked away. Bieksa hustles to the puck of the blue line. Good hold. Down to Higgins. Raymond from the corner. He and Higgins trade spots. Bieksa at the blue line. Raymond again. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Mason Raymond to Alex Burrows, and that ticked off the goaltender's right pad. I don't think he saw it. Raymond's pass for Bieksa is out of his reach, and the puck escapes the zone. Shots are 8-4. Oh, Bieksa almost put it in his own net.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. They're buzzing here at the Raj. Parise can't clear past Hanhus. Burrows. 2 seconds to go on the power play. Raymond spinning on Stoner. Here's Higgins with the Wild back to full strength. Burrows to Bieksa. Had to take it off his skate. Now he slams a rolling puck wide. Burrows after the rebound on the far boards. Gave it away to Stoner, and he lifts the puck high and out to center. Kevin Bieksa, who had that close call in his own zone, gets the puck around for Dale Weiss. Ahead to Tom Sestito. He couldn't take the pass, and Prosser sends the puck the other way. Sestito again. Checked. Here's Cullen moving it. Matt Cullen with a wrist shot blocked by Chris Tanev. Cullen to Prosser. Long shot, stick save Luongo. Tanev there for the rebound. Gets the puck around for Weiss. Back pass to Ballard, ahead to Sestito. He and Stoner collide, he and Prosser collide. Prosser took the worst of it, and then Weiss and Sestito with a double team on Falk. Bodies flying here. Sestito from a sharp angle trying to get a shot through. And the Wild able to clear the zone. Tanev's back for the puck with 5 minutes to go in the scoreless first, and the fans give the fourth liner hand for that physical shift. Brodin bumped by Lapierre. Higgins is after the puck. Pinizzotto got a piece of Koivu. Parise brings the puck to center, works it free to Mikko Koivu, and he's in over the Vancouver blue line. Koivu with a wrist shot, stick save Luongo. Puck loose on the far boards. Coyle sends it to Suter at the blue line, and he dumps the puck around for Parise. Zach Parise trying to leave the puck for Koivu. He and Garrison got tangled up. Garrison chips the puck to himself and starts out. Can't pass ahead. Pinizzotto missed it. And the Wild turn the puck quickly the other way. Coyle flips it in and chases after the puck in the corner. Edler intercepts behind the net and goes off the glass and down into the Minnesota zone. No icing, with Suter going back to collect the puck. Ryan Suter slowly to center. Delays before ringing the puck around to the near boards. Hanhus pokes it along for Burrows. Checked by Brodziak. Now gets the puck through to Henrik Sedin. Henrik to Burrows, neatly off his skate. Back to Bieksa. Wrist shot, gloved by Backstrom. And he hangs on for the whistle with Henrik Sedin going after the puck. One of the New York Canucks, Tom Sestito. Physical shift for him. Love the way he made that body bounce.
Download the free Canucks mobile app powered by Rogers and always be connected to your favorite team. Stay up to date on box scores, player stats, news, photos, videos, and much more. Download now or go to Canucks.com/app for more information.
Kevin Bieksa on his backhand, almost mishandles it into the net. Looked down at the last second and checks the stick, the tape on the stick. You know, that's why the guys tape it heel to toe, so that the ridges face in, and when you're on your forehand, it helps you control the puck. You've learned something.
Yeah, just like any other day with you.
But when you get it on the backhand, you see it slides off. The ridges are facing the other way.
Here's Matt Cullen. Ridges were not a factor in that play as Ballard stepped into it. Feeds back, Brodin. Bouchard from the corner, leaves for Cullen. Ballard, another hit, takes Cullen down, but Setoguchi's onto the puck. Devin Setoguchi coming out front, turns with a shot, couldn't get it through. Brodin holds the line. Ebbett intercepts that, fires across for Raymond. Puck out of his reach. He tries to move in on Suter. And over to pick up the loose puck is Setoguchi. 3 minutes remaining in the first. And Handhuse has to turn to go back for that part. Gets away from one check in the corner. Passes ahead to Henriksen. Here's Garrison. To Burrows. Down the boards for Garrison. Suter's not out there for this shift on the Sedin line. Canucks will try to take advantage. Henrik works the puck free to Burrows. Finds some room on the left side. Handhuse. Garrison. Slap shot wide. Can't find the target. And Koivu gets the puck out for Coyle. He runs into Handhuse. Koivu drops back into his own zone, and Prosser passes to Jared Spurgeon. Bieksa reverses for Handhuse. Ahead for Weiss. Plays the puck up the boards. Prosser there. Nice pass to Zucker, moving in with Torrey Mitchell. Zucker with a wrist shot, and that's well wide. Falk holds the puck in. Bieksa breaks it up in the corner, but Mitchell's on his... Oh, Bieksa high-sticked him, and he got away with it. Bieksa trying to lift the stick, hit Mitchell right in the face, and neither referee saw it. Here's Schrader, wide on Falk. Schrader around behind the net, out the near side. Schrader centers for Edler. Weak shot as it was partially blocked, and it just trickled wide. Sestito finds Bieksa at the blue line. He lets go with a slap shot. That missed the net. Edler at the left point. Alex Edler risks one on goal, tipped wide by Weiss. Weiss keeps the puck alive with a pass to Tom Sestito, trying to get it back to Bieksa. That was tipped away. Zucker, though, can't move the puck out. Konopka's there, and he lifts it to center. Alex Edler drives the puck back into Minnesota territory. Brodin chips it along the boards. Pinizzado's off the bench, but he couldn't hold the puck in. And Konopka brings it up. Can't get it by Tanev. To Edler, quickly ahead to Max Lapierre. Pinizzado trying to hold the puck in. Onto it is Brodziak as we move into the final minute of the scoreless first period. Heatley on the left wing. Checked by Tanev. Heatley trying to hold the puck in along the boards. He's taken down. Comes back to Suter at the left point. Brodin with room. Rolling puck, lets it go along with the blocker save. He juggled the puck, but he hangs on.
Again, we talked on the first 2 minutes of the game, Roberto Luongo's positioning, and now the last minute of the first period, rolling puck, Roberto again. Perfect positioning off the shoulder. Canucks can't get a break. Look at Abdelkader's goals on Saturday night where it bounces off his feet. That one right through about 8 pairs of skates and sliding harmlessly through the blue paint.
Face-off will be in the Vancouver zone with 42 seconds to go in the first period. Puck comes back to Brodin. He's got room middle of the ice with a wrist shot. Luongo got the right shoulder on it. Coyle after the puck behind the net. Now it's swung in front. Oh, good job on the back check there as Daniel Sedin tied up Mikko Koivu, who was going after that loose puck. Burrows at the other end of the ice. Checked. Henrik Sedin gets the puck, trying to center for Daniel. It's over his stick, and here comes Koivu with 20 seconds to go in the period. Koivu into the middle. Intercepted by Handhuse. And the Canucks might have time for one last rush. Broken up, however, and Koivu has the puck inside his own line. Suter takes a look at the clock. And he'll be content to get out of the first period on even terms in this showdown for first place in the Northwest Division. 0-0 through 20.
Back to Vancouver. Canucks outshot the Wild 10-7 in the opening frame, but both goaltenders perfect to this point. Hey, the Design a Mask contest is back. Submit your design at any Lower Mainland Boston Pizza location for your chance to win a replica NHL goalie mask featuring your design. Boston Pizza, official family restaurant of the Vancouver Canucks.
Your first key, John, was 60-minute effort, so the Canucks move on to the second of 3 20-minute periods with Alain Vigneault hoping his team has that effort in it tonight.
They had a good first 20. But the only time that they let down a little bit was right after the first power play.
Keith Ballard has the puck to start period number 2. Higgins to Tanev. Pinizzato takes his pass and deflects the puck in behind the Minnesota goal. Lapierre threw a hit there on Spurgeon, who now comes up with the puck but is hit by Higgins. Lapierre from the corner. Back to Ballard. Wrist shot tipped by Higgins and stopped by Backstrom. Pinizzato from behind the goal. Higgins missed his pass. Ballard thought of him moving down, but now retreats as the Wild throw the puck into the Vancouver zone. Tanev picks it up and rings it around for Chris Higgins. He gets it ahead to Max Lapierre, who's checked at center by Brodziak. He in turn is checked by Pinizzato. Let's go to the slap shot. And that was blocked by Jonas Brodin. Canucks changing as Lapierre works to hold the puck deep in the Minnesota zone. Daniel Sedin hoping for a pass behind the net, and he gets it. Daniel back to Jason Garrison. Wrist one towards the goal. That was tipped both by Lapierre and Burrows, but they couldn't get it through to the netminder. Lapierre staying out there. Now we'll head to the bench as Henrik Sedin comes on to join his line mates. Daniel Sedin from behind the goal, trying to center, gets it through on the second attempt, knocked away by Backstrom. Daniel steals the puck back. Here's Hamhuis, left point, wrist shot, blocked by Brodin. Rebound put wide by Henrik Sedin, and now takes a pass from Burrows. Daniel Sedin all the way back to Garrison, being watched by Heatley. Daniel Sedin again. Here's Henrik Sedin. Back to Daniel. Garrison. Wrist one wide of the net. Puck comes to Hamhuis to the right point. He lets fly. Slap pass, and Daniel is stopped by Backstrom on a redirect from the high slot after some good pressure in the Minnesota zone.
And we talked about Roberto Luongo being in great position. This time it's Nick Backstrom on this good hard pass by Dan Hamhuis. Tip, and Backstrom right off the Wildcat logo. Backstrom's been very good lately. He's been good all season.
Wild with a clearing attempt. That ricochets to Matt Cullen, who passes to Devin Setoguchi. Back for Cullen, broken up by Edler. Raymond can't move the puck out. Bouchard open in front, but Cullen fanned on his pass attempt, and Edler intercepts in the corner. Edler sends one ahead, hoping he gets through to Hansen. Justin Falk back for the puck, hits Ebbett with his clearing attempt. Prosser tries his luck, able to hook the puck forward to Cullen, who throws it into the middle, picked up by Setoguchi. Canucks with the only 2 shots of the period so far, just over 2 minutes in, still no score. First place in the Northwest to the winner. Here's Bieksa. Up the boards, Raymond chops the puck forward. Ebbett moves in with Hansen. Andrew Ebbett tried to slide one through to Hansen, who got a piece of the netminder after he lost an edge. And they'll blow the whistle down with the net dislodged.
This period brought to you by Toyota Red Tag Days. It's big. It's on now.
Good breakout. Andrew Ebbett throws it across. Yannick Hansen gets tripped up by Mikko Koivu and can't get his balance back. Sliding into the net. You know when Kevin Bieksa mishandled that one, almost put it in his net? I think Nick Backstrom might have got credit for that goal.
He cleared it?
He was the one that cleared it down.
Here's Hamhuis holding the puck in. Henrik Sedin rolls it in behind the Minnesota goal. We saw Evgeny Nabokov score a goal here at Rogers Arena. That was a straight shot into an empty net. Burrows with a shot. And reaching out with his stick was Backstrom to steer it further wide. Hamhuis from the line. In front, Daniel deflected it. And a right pad save by Nick Backstrom on a puck that nearly got between the pads. Here's Parise for Minnesota. Right up the middle with a wrist shot, and that deflects to the corner. Koivu's onto the puck. Swats it behind the goal. Parise trying to pick it up, checked by Hamhuis, and the puck comes free to Alex Burrows. Burrows carries through center on the left wing. In with Henrik Sedin, strip of the puck. Wild send it the other way. Parise with Mitchell, and the pass was out of his reach.
Well, there was one of those offensive blue line turnovers by Alex Burrows.
And an icing call by Ballard, or off the stick of Ballard, will bring the puck back into the Vancouver zone.
Daniels had some chances in this game. Here's another one, that tip in that, as you said, almost made it through, rattled off both pads and stayed out.
7 games without a goal for Daniel Sedin, although he has 18 points in his last 19 outings. Henrik's still out there, never did make the change. Takes the face-off.
Another face-off win. Henrik won 5 of 7 in the first period.
He'll head to the bench now.
Another icing.
They'll bring him back on to take another face-off as the puck bounced over Sestito's stick and went the length of the ice for the whistle. Blaine Vigneault, 300 wins with the Canucks. He got that milestone in their last victory over Nashville. by my rough count, the 23rd coach in history to get 300 wins with a single team. He's tied with Jacques Demers now on the all-time list, and the next man in his sights on the all-time coaching win list, none other than Jack Adams.
Pretty good company.
Dale Weiss fighting for the puck in the Minnesota zone. Falk able to lift it high down to the Vancouver line. Ballard being pursued. Tanev comes over to help out. He and Cullen go to the end boards, and there's Jordan Schrader able to come with the puck. But held in by Spurgeon, now picked up by Schrader. As Spurgeon was knocked down by Weiss. Sestito in, drop pass, Tanev shoots, kicked out, rebound, Weiss, stopped by the goaltender, lying in the crease, never saw it coming. And Nick Backstrom able to deny Dale Weiss his second goal of the season.
Now,
just a quick whistle,
quick whistle. Now here's a unfortunate gamble by Spurgeon. If you're a Wild fan, Chris Tanev has his shot and a rebound. Rebounds there, and Nick Backstrom, as you say, with his back to the play, is able to make the save. I still don't know why the whistle went there.
Dale Weiss, only goal of the season, came in that 1-0 win in Nashville. He almost doubled his output there. He's made a career playing Nashville. I didn't realize it until I took a closer look the other day. For a guy with not very many career points, Weiss has 5 points in 6 games against Nashville.
2-team league. Be all right.
They will not be joining the Canucks in the same division in realignment. Edler took a long route to that puck and beaten to it by Mitchell. Recovers to pin him against the boards. Zwicker checked by Hansen. The puck still loose in the corner. Hansen tried to kick it around. Now it comes to Bieksa. And on the backhand, he sends it up for Raymond, who's able to chip it out to center. Glove down by Konopka. Tried to play it in. That was blocked, and here come the Canucks. Raymond sliding the puck in and starting a Vancouver change with just over 5 minutes gone, second period. Minnesota still without a shot this period. Canucks have outshot them 5-0 and 15-7 in the hockey game. Chris Tanev ahead to Chris Higgins. Pinizzato chases after that dumping. Round for Lapierre. Overskating the puck. Suter fanned on his clearing attempt. And the puck stays in the Minnesota zone. Now he's able to get it out. Gloved down by Tanev. Tanev turns to face the play. Pinizzato neatly kicks the puck to Lapierre, who sends it in for Higgins. Brodin clears up the boards. Lapierre cuts that off. Higgins fighting for the puck. Clutterbuck and Brodin are there for Minnesota. Higgins to one knee, gets back up, keeps fighting. Pinizzato took a shot in the back and went down. Higgins comes up with the puck. Back to Ballard. Makes a move to get around Brodziak. Ballard down the left wing boards. Gets in deep. Throws one in front. Deflects back to Tanev. Slap shot, and that one off the stick of Heatley. And over the glass for a whistle. Canucks keeping it up. Looking for the 60-minute effort, but neither team has been able to score.
Don't need many guesses to try to guess who was the most hated Canuck as far as the Minnesota Wild go. For a long time it was Burrows versus Pierre-Marc Bouchard, but lately it's been him and Mikko Koivu. This was back on February 12th. Remember, Koivu stole his glove and then just tossed it back on the ice. And then of course the last game, March 10th, they just about went on it very early in the game. They wanted to go. A big scrum ensued. Cal Clutterbuck lost his mind trying to get at Burrows, and these two almost went on the way to the penalty boxes. So some real feeling back in these season series, guys.
And now there's actual stakes too.
I think that's a good thing. Canucks clinched the division when, in January last season?
Here's Setoguchi in with a drag move, and Luongo's first save of the period was a tough one with the left pad. Ballard leads the rush to center, moving in on Suter. Ballard with a wrist shot, swallowed up by Backstrom, and he hangs on for the whistle. So Minnesota gets its first shot 6.5 minutes into the period, but Luongo able to kick it out.
What do you think of the Corey Perry deal?
I mean, that's in terms of two guys and a shrinking salary cap.
Yes.
Can you do it? Or is there a sign and trade at play here?
Might be a sign and trade. See how this season goes, give it the shot, and then trade Corey Perry during the summer.
To your Leafs.
To my Leafs.
Ebbett waved out. Yannick Hansen will in to take this draw against Mikko Koivu. You know me, I'm no CBA expert.
No, neither am I.
I'm just wondering if there's a provision, as Tony mentioned on the panel, as Raymond moves in on the right wing. You're allowed to sign your own free agents to 8 years. Here's Garrison with a shot, gloved by Backstrom. And I'll finish my thought in a sec.
Play sports action odd set to outcome. Just pick a winner at bclc.com/sports.
The truth is, I should just shut up when I'm ignorant about something. But
Yes.
can you sign your own guy to the 8-year deal and then trade him?
And circumvent the 7-year
Right.
length of the contract term that the new CBA has.
Lawrence, if you're listening, text
Yes.
me. Prosser dumps the puck in from center. Zucker there. Back in the lineup after taking that hit from Corey Perry. J.C. Zucker. 4-game suspension resulted. Chasing after the puck is Jordan Schrader. Konopka caught him, so Schrader throws on the brakes. Waiting for help. Bieksa, wrist shot, tipped by Weiss. Kicking in the puck. Rebound. Oh, put wide. Sestito came in on the backhand and didn't miss by much. Dale Weiss has had a couple of chances this period. Bieksa stepping up on Zucker, who was able to avoid the check and now picks up the puck. Dumps into the Vancouver zone. Sestito hit by Konopka, sends the puck around. Edler gets it to Bieksa. Keeping an eye on Sestito and Konopka behind the plays. Parise brings the puck in, but Konopka trapped well offside, and that's why the whistle blows.
George Schrader was caught by Konopka, so he stops. Nice pivot. Little button hook. Shot and a rebound, and Tom Sestito has the rolling puck tipped, and it just goes over the crossbar. Prosser got his stick on it just as Sestito was trying to get it up and over Nick Backstrom.
Here's Suter rushing the puck in on the left wing. Wrist shot, Luongo's got it. And on the whistle, we'll check in with Murph.
Guys, it's the road to Rio presented by CIBC. Who will rise, who will fall? Sportsnet's exciting coverage of World Cup qualifying continues Friday as soccer nations collide. Portugal, England, Spain, and more in action. Coverage begins Friday morning on Sportsnet.
No score in this hockey game, which is 8 minutes into the second period. Burrows frees up the puck for Daniel Sedin. Henrik back to Burrows. Tried to get it down for Daniel. Now it gets through. Daniel on the backhand, put it through his legs and was stopped by the left pad of Backstrom.
A sign of confidence.
But the only way you get the shot through. Trying to fool the goalie. Now he's in more conventionally on the right wing with a wrist shot that missed the net. Puck loose behind the goal. Gobbled up by Suter. Ryan Suter delays. Now brings the puck in. He's checked. It hit Henrik. Came back towards the goal. Suter looking for it. Finally poked three to Daniel Sedin, and he's able to clear the zone.
I was going to say if they called that one icing.
Soapbox would have had an appearance.
Oh, yes.
Luongo out of his net. Ballard. Puck stays in the zone. Here's Tanev. 4 Canucks to center on this one with the pass to the near side. Well, Pinizzano's able to at least muscle it in deep. Canucks will try to make something happen from there. Stoner found a teammate in traffic. And the puck is sent back inside the Vancouver blue line. So much for our theorizing, because Corey Perry's contract has a no movement clause apparently. Penalty coming up here. A hooking call, and the Canucks are going to get their third power play of the hockey game.
As you said, Daniel Sedin never had a chance to get this puck around for a real shot, so he goes through his legs. Defenseman right on him. Not a whole lot on it, but had Nick Backstrom not been paying attention, slid through. Obvious hook. Devin Setaguchi stopped skating and ended up reaching on Chris Higgins and ends up in the penalty box.
3 power plays in the game. They've all gone to Vancouver. Canucks are 0 for 2. and hoping they don't have to look back on another game and say, boy, if the power play could have helped us.
Yes.
Fans trying to help spur them on as the puck slides towards the right point. Garrison hustles to it, spins, makes a nice pass. Henrik to Daniel, he fan on it. Wild left the Sedins alone down low, and it almost cost them, but Daniel couldn't make contact. Now he's got the puck, passing back to Garrison. Daniel takes his pass, wrist one in front, deflected, stopped by the goaltender Backstrom. Henrik knocked down, Canucks keep the puck alive. Daniel Sedin walks to the middle, fires down to Henrik, back to Alex Edler. Wrist shot, deflected wide by Daniel Sedin. Suter gets the loose puck, clears it up the boards, held in by Garrison. Canucks playing this power play with a sense of purpose. Here's Edler. Garrison wants the pass. There it is. He shoots. Block. Henrik scores.
That shot hit Daniel Sedin in the crease. And you can see he is very slow to get up.
How do you spell relief, John? G-O-A-L.
Yes.
On the PP.
Shot and a rebound, and give Daniel Sedin credit for going in the spot to screen Nick Backstrom. Gets hit with that puck, and the puck goes off Daniel Sedin right to Henrik Sedin. Off Daniel's leg, and Henrik's able to get it by and in. That shot would have been tough to save by Nick Backstrom anyway.
The drought is over. It ends at 0 for 36. And about in the neighborhood of 66 minutes of scoreless power play time. But the Canucks are on the board. Henrik Sedin has the goal. And Bieksa with a wrist shot. That's blocked by Parise, who clears the puck ahead. Spurgeon chasing after. Pinizzato tried to catch up. Spurgeon has the puck. He's got teammates in front. Throws it there. Coyle put it wide as he knocked that puck right out of midair. Lapierre ahead for Higgins. He missed the puck, but so did Koivu, and it slides down to the Minnesota blue line. Parise's back in. He tips the puck to the inboards. Clutterbuck goes after it there. Here's Koivu. Centering. Parise couldn't make contact, and Clutterbuck's shot attempt from a sharp angle was blocked. Now Koivu back to Falk, and the puck's over his stick and out of the zone. Well, they scored it the way you saw it. Daniel Sedin pays the price, but he gets an assist. With Garrison drawing the second assist. Now Raymond having trouble moving the puck out. Brodziak puts it in front. Hansen knocks that away, and a Vancouver penalty coming up. I think it's a Vancouver penalty. And it's Kevin Bieksa heading to the box after Henrik Sedin finally got a power play goal for the Canucks. Henrik Sedin's 8th goal in the last 15 games produces a winner on score and win for Safeway and Ocean's Light Tuna. Heather Hodgson of Bowen Island, congratulations. You've won the Garmin Nuvi GPS. Sedins continue their mastery of the Minnesota Wild. Only Jerome McGinley has more points head-to-head than the Twins.
Well, Danny Heatley on the forecheck with Kevin Bieksa. The hand comes up, and Kevin retaliated with the right hand in the back of the head and ends up with the rubbing penalty.
So first power play of the hockey game for the Wild. Chance to get on even terms here, and their power play's been going well. Suter at the left point. Spurgeon back to Suter. Minnesota's scored a power play goal in 8 of its last 10 games. Suter with a slap shot, just missed. Puck comes to Spurgeon on the left side. Edler cut that off in the corner. On the back end, he works the puck free for Burrows, who's checked by Spurgeon. Tanev fighting for the puck. Playing where Bieksa would be if he wasn't in the box. Brodziak. Back to Suter. Hooks the puck over to Koivu. Now Parise misses the pass. Puck came towards Brodziak. It's onto the stick of Ebbett, who was able to fight off the check and then slam the puck down the ice.
The one shot by Suter in the middle has been the best chance, and that one sailed wild.
Shots are 21-9 for Vancouver. Cullen brings the puck in. Drops for Brodin. Setaguchi trying to make something happen. Puck is off a skate. Punched to the line by Hansen. Stays in though. Somewhat of a miracle hold there for the Wild. They'll try to make something of it, and Setaguchi stopped by the blocker of Roberto Luongo. Cullen gets the puck in the right wing corner. Fan on his pass back. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Hughes fighting for the puck in the corner. Shovels it over to Garrison. He brings it up the near side, off the boards, and past Bouchard and down the ice. Pierre-Marc Bouchard, who has 3 points in the 2 games he's played after being a healthy scratch for 3 straight. He heads to the bench as the whistle blows with only 11 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to Kevin Bieksa.
Well, Danny Heatley does a nice job keeping this puck in. Jannik Hansen tried to bat it by him, but Heatley with the big body able to keep it in at the blue line, and then Devin Setoguchi fires that wrist shot. He's just been on fire, Devin Setoguchi. A nice save by Roberto Luongo.
10th shot for the Wild. They've had 3 here in the second period. Canucks have peppered Nick Backstrom with 11 after getting 10 in the first, but another penalty here. It's going to be a 2-man advantage for 8 seconds. A tripping call right off the faceoff. And Daniel Sedin arguing.
On the faceoff, Henrik draws it back. Koivu tries to go through, and Henrik and Daniel both had the sticks out.
Daniel arguing on behalf of his brother, who takes a seat.
I think Daniel thought that he was going to be the one to get the penalty.
And the Canucks, no offense to Daniel, probably wish it was Daniel Sedin in the event they wanted Henrik to win a faceoff in the near future. 2-man advantage briefly for Minnesota. Parise has the puck. Back to Spurgeon, other side. Suter with a shot. Luongo the save. Suter again. To the side. Parise. Stopped by Luongo, and the puck cleared by Edler. Bieksa's out of the box. It's a 1-man advantage. Canucks working at the puck out. Can't do it. Bieksa another chance. Gets it to center to Max Lapierre. He'll take his time before backhanding the puck deep into the Minnesota zone. Luongo, a couple of key stops just before Bieksa got out of the box. Now he's trying to work the puck free to Edler along the end boards. Comes loose to the far side. Spurgeon there. Down to Koivu. Back to Suter. Just held it onside. Spurgeon at the right point. Pass blocked. Hansen kicks the puck down. Higgins is after it, but he's checked by Jared Spurgeon. Just over a minute to go on the penalty to Henrik Sedin. Koivu brings the puck in. Gets it by Hansen to Suter. He tried to throw it across the middle. That's intercepted. And here come the Canucks short-handed. Higgins will just kill some time before sliding the puck in behind the goal and heading to the bench. 45 seconds to go in the Minnesota power play. Wild trailing 1-0 with just over 5 minutes to go in the second. Pierre-Marc Bouchard to Danny Heatley. Leaves at the left point for Devin Setoguchi. Let's go with the long wrist shot. That missed the net. Bouchard from the corner. Back to Brodin. Being watched by Luis. Bouchard to Brodin again. Bouchard had to take that one on the backhand. Now he finds Heatley. Back to Brodin with room. He shoots. He scores. What a shot by the rookie Jonas Brodin. And on the power play, the Wild tie the game at 1.
Well, good traffic in front. The 5-on-3, they couldn't score, but on the 5-on-4, the penalty killers a little tired. Wild are a big team, and look at Danny Heatley's in front. Puck goes to Brodin. Cullen's in front. Setoguchi's in front. Especially Devin Setoguchi gets in perfect line for this shot by Brodin. Goes by Setoguchi, and Roberto looks up, has no chance. Setoguchi just dances out of the way in time, and Brodin gets the goal.
Jonas Brodin, who only just recently scored his first career goal. That came Thursday against Colorado. Now has his second. And Luongo had to scramble back to make sure he stopped that sharp angle shot. Mitchell trying to set something up. Puck is loose in front. Zucker came in and put it on goal. Luongo able to cover, and now a pile up in front after the Canuck goaltender grabbed the puck. Both power plays have connected here in the second, and the Canucks and the Wild are all even at 1.
Tickets available for all home games, including March 26th versus the Blue Jackets. Experience the excitement of seeing your Canucks play live. Go to Canucks.com/tickets today.
Safeway's feature participating product for tonight's game is Ocean's Light Tuna. I would imagine anything like that that touched your lips would have to be completely whipped up with
Lots of mayonnaise,
mayonnaise,
lots
yeah.
of mayonnaise, little pickles in it.
1-1 tie, face off in the Vancouver zone. Wild have had the last 4 shots in the hockey game. Power plays will do that. Brodin's goal from Heatley and Bouchard. Now another shot from the line. Luongo in trouble with it, but able to reach out with the glove and cover. As Cullen was trying to jar that puck loose.
Brodin, his second of the season, scored on the power play by Heatley.
This Minnesota team, when they get their big lineup on the ice, they are as big as the St. Louis Blues or the Anaheim Ducks. I think that's one of the things in the last couple of years that they've been able to do is just get bigger, and now Setaguchi's playing better. Heatley is just a complementary part of the puzzle instead of the guy.
There's Clutterbuck. That's off along his blocker. Back to Falk. Intercepting is Pinizzato. Nice pass ahead to Higgins. Moving in on Prosser, trying to step around him. Prosser having none of that. And Clutterbuck hit by Edler as he gets the puck out. They both felt that shot. Steve Pinizzato drops for Edler. Clutterbuck steps into him. Higgins trying to get the puck out. Gets another chance. Can't do it. Third opportunity. And this time fires ahead for Pinizzato at center. Talk about the size of the Wild, and the Canucks, on the other hand, with injuries to Kessler to begin with. Zach Kassian out the last 2 games. David Booth injured in the last game. And losing size from their lineup. Burroughs looked like he got grabbed there in the corner.
All 3 guys well over 200 pounds, well over 6 feet.
Here's Charlie Coyle trying to center. Hamhuis knocked that one away. Burroughs plays the puck out. Lapierre's after it, and he's onto it. Canucks have 3 over the Minnesota line. Lapierre on the left wing. Lapierre to the trailer. Daniel Sedin. He shoots, and reaching in. Was that Brodin who tipped that puck out? Daniel Sedin took just a tick too long to let it go.
Well, the pass is behind him, so he has to reach back. And it is Brodin coming through. Dan Hamhuis on Charlie Coyle, who is another big body that the Minnesota Wild have put in their lineup.
Got a problem here with the glass. Still have to attend to. Well, we got the electrifying hit drama we want to tell you about. John knows all about it.
I do.
Revolution. It returns to City with an all-new episode Monday, March 25th. Again, only on City. And I know you are gung-ho about this.
I am. I'm excited. Looking forward to the return of Revolution. The power is back. But for how long? You see, the world is without electricity, and they're trying to get power back.
I like it.
It is. It's very good. A Canadian actress is the star of the show, as we saw a picture of her there. Her name right now eludes me.
I wish I could help you out.
Yes. It is a very good show. You'll enjoy it once you get
Was it?
watch
Is it Jessica Tandy?
I didn't know Jessica Tandy was Canadian.
She's probably not. Here's Dale Weiss off the faceoff, trying to drag the puck in front. Weiss, left point, slap shot, knocked down by the goaltender. Schrader after the rebound, put it on net, stopped by Backstrom, and he gets the pad on the puck after some hairy times around the Minnesota goal.
Fourth line's had a couple of these shifts where they played in the offensive zone and had some chances. And we saw Sestito earlier throw one over the crossbar, go to the net. He doesn't quite make contact with this tip-in try, but there they are, jigging away at a rebound, playing in the offensive zone, and that's what you want out of your fourth line. Get down there, get behind the defense. Ryan Suter, give him a tough shift.
Schrader, who had the rebound chance, will take this face off against Danny Heatley after Brodziak got waved out. Schrader had a chance to win it back to Edler, but couldn't slide the puck through. Wild throw to the Vancouver blue line. Turned back by Edler and slammed in by Weiss. Stoner let the puck go, and that allows the Wild to move it out. Heatley trying to step around Edler, who broke that up. But now the puck is by him and onto the stick of Danny Heatley. Danny Heatley throws it in front, blocked by Bieksa. Puck loose in the far corner. Bieksa skates to it. Weiss comes back to help out. And able to backhand the puck down to the Minnesota blue line. Hansen. Some good work, allowing Raymond to intercept. Mason Raymond delays, throws one on goal, and gloving the puck is Backstrom. He hangs on, and we check back in with Dan.
Guys, the IndyCar IZOD Series makes a debut on Sportsnet Sunday, March 24th with the Honda Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Follow Canadian drivers James Hinchcliffe and Alex Tagliani as they take on the world.
I used to be a big IndyCar fan when the Molson Indy was here in Vancouver. In the suite, right at the start-finish line.
Of course you were in the suite.
Your connections came through again.
I'm sure you were like James Franco and asked to tell the gentlemen to start their engines. 2 minutes to go. Second period, a 1-1 tie. Henrik Sedin has room to move in on the left wing. Burrows with him. Tanev, the trailer, takes the pass. Tanev to the forehand. Shot didn't get through. Minnesota got a stick on it in the crease. And the puck worked back down into the Vancouver end where Ballard takes control. Tanev delays, throws one ahead for Henrik Sedin, who deflects the puck into the Minnesota zone. Goaltender Backstrom gets it ahead, and here's Parise moving it on the left wing. Drops for Coyle. Charlie Coyle with a shot. Luongo fought it off a bit, and then able to snare the puck in his glove with a minute 22 to go in the second.
Chris Tanev almost had a goal on this rush with Henrik Sedin. Henrik Sedin follows Tanev. And look at Chris Tanev. Good read, jump up into the play. He started it in his own zone. Off a stick. He would have gone in. Just inside the post.
Ryan Suter got his stick on it. Now Stoner with a shot attempt that deflects to the corner. Garrison after the puck. Koivu cuts that off. Garrison again, this time room to go behind the net. Banks the puck for Higgins. He's checked by Spurgeon. Hanhus to the near side. Pinizzato had to reach, but he's able to get the puck out. Stoner feeds Koivu. Checked by Pinizzato. Doing good work just outside the Vancouver blue line. Final minute, second period, a 1-1 tie. Here's Jason Garrison with a pass to Steve Pinizzato. 28-year-old playing his third career game, backhands the puck in and heads to the bench. Wild having trouble, came in front and Higgins couldn't jam it home with Backstrom trapped behind the net. Higgins taken down, play goes on. Suter moves the puck out, finds Cullen. And Ebbett picks up that loose puck, turns quickly and looks up ice. Passes to Kevin Bieksa, 20 seconds to go in the period. Hansen missed that one. Ebbett will get there first though, so no icing. Tried to center, that goes high in the air, gloved down by Suter, who's checked by Hansen. But able to bounce off the check and dump the puck around for Bouchard. Here's Suter, 5 seconds to go in the period. Dumps the puck in and that'll do it. With each team capitalizing on a second period power play, but Chris Higgins on that late chance unable to capitalize on an open net.
Nick Backstrom's not a very good puck handling goaltender. He gets behind the net and it's in his feet. Chris Higgins is almost able to get it in. There's Backstrom, all sorts of problems. He's trying to get the whistle and Higgins just can't quite drag it towards the net. Slides it through, misses the far post.
Canucks get the long-awaited power play goal they've been waiting for, but Jonas Brodin, one of his own to tie it. Brad Fay's coming up. We've got the panel as well. Matt Sakaris and Tony Gallagher with Murph on a tied hockey game through 2.
Welcome back to Vancouver, Rogers Arena. Canucks and Wild tied at 1. Your scoring summaries brought to you by Panago. Before, during, or after the game, get a fresh Panago. In the seconds where the goals came, Henrik Sedin on the power play from Daniel and Garrison before Jonas Brodin, the great rookie, tied it up on the power play with his second of the season.
So, for once we can say the game is a power play game and the Canucks are benefiting at least once.
Well, point shot. Get that point shot, and both goals start with point shots. That one's off Daniel Sedin to Henrik, and this one, the point shot goes through. Good screen, Devin Setaguchi's in front, but get the point shot, and I think that's one of the things both teams realize. You get that point shot through, and scrum around for the goal.
Daniel Sedin probably still feeling it, but nothing close to being an ailment that would take him out of the game. He'll start from the bench as Jordan Schrader gets an early promotion here.
Canucks have fired 53 shots at the Wild net, including the ones blocked and that have missed, and the Wild on the other side have only directed 28 towards Roberto Luongo.
Jordan Schrader starts this third period on a line with Higgins and Pinizzotto. But the Wild have the puck in the Vancouver zone to start. Higgins trying to free it up on the near side. Gets the puck to the line, held in by Stoner. Heatley's after the puck on Tanev, who does well to work it free to Pinizzotto. He drops for Schrader. Jordan Schrader, the Minnesota native, gets to the Wild blue line and tips the puck in. Now moves in on Stoner. Took the body, allowing the puck to get around to a teammate. Now it's Parise for the Wild. Can't get it by Garrison at center. Jason Garrison in with a slap shot, and it's off the stick of Spurgeon, and Backstrom tips the puck to the corner. Sedins are onto the ice, and they're onto the puck. Daniel, as the stick broke from Spurgeon, Henrik tried to take advantage with a pass to Daniel Sedin. Here's Hamhuis with a drive, blocked by Coyle, who handed his stick to the defenseman, Spurgeon. Now Parise at the other end, throws on the brakes, drops to Koivu, cuts wide with a wrist shot. Luongo able to stop it, couldn't cover it, but the puck is played around to Alex Burrows. He flips it ahead. Brodin intercepts for Minnesota. Suter takes his pass. The Wild start out. Ryan Suter shielding the puck, gets to the Vancouver line and tips it in. Edler fires ahead for Hansen. Look out, that's into the seats off the stick of Jonas Brodin.
What a smart play by Charlie Coyle, the youngster for the Minnesota Wild. Realized his defenseman was in trouble, hands him the stick, and then gets in perfect position to block this shot. Sacrificing the big body. Looked like a goaltender down on that one.
There's a right-hand stick, too, which he handed to the right-hand defenseman, which is always helpful in a time of crisis. Brodin trying to get the puck into the Vancouver zone. Sent the other way by Edler. Ebbett fishing for the puck. Cullen's able to slide it into the Vancouver zone. Bieksa goes back. Cullen's on him. Comes up with the puck, but the Canucks get it around to Raymond. Edler following up. Starts forward with a pass to Hansen. Tips over for Ebbett. Intercepted by Setaguchi, who gets the puck to center to Bouchard. Now Brodin, the 19-year-old, doesn't turn 20 till the summer. Sends the puck in and heads to the bench. I was grilling burgers at the golf course when I was 19. Here's Backstrom covering up for a face-off in the Minnesota zone.
Kyle Brodziak is headed down the tunnel to the Wild dressing room. He misses Chris Higgins here. He doesn't go directly off, but when he did make it to the bench, whether he went for equipment problems or health problems after that missed hit.
Setaguchi's getting one of his skates worked on at the bench. As the puck is dropped in the Minnesota zone, Wild come out with it. Zucker gets it behind Ballard, who's able to recover, come back after some help from Tanev, and get the puck out to center. Konopka flips it back in, glove down by Tanev. Ballard couldn't move it. Here's Konopka to Zucker, couldn't get the shot through. Tanev picks up the loose puck. Tried to reverse, intercepted. Mitchell tries a shot, missed on the short side. Here's Fall. Konopka lets it go through to Torrey Mitchell. Centering pass knocked away by Tanev, who pokes the puck free to Dale Weiss. Weiss tips the puck into Minnesota territory. Sestito moves in on Prosser, who leaves the puck for Falk. 3 minutes into the third. Wild have the only shot of the period as Coyle moves in. Passes to an open side. Spurgeon's onto the puck. Slaps one wide of the goal. Puck ricochets to the far side. Pinizzotto can't get there. It's past Garrison into the corner to Coyle. Poke check by Hamhuis, who plays the puck to the near side. Spurgeon moves down from the blue line. Koivu covering for him. Falls down. But gets the puck to the side. It's tipped in. Charlie Coyle on the deflection of a Clayton Stoner shot. Tipped out of midair by Coyle, I think, and it's 2-1 Wild.
Roberto Luongo's looking up at it. I'm sure he's hoping that a high stick is involved. Charlie Koivu is knocked down behind the net, but a good smart player, what do? Get knocked down, go to the front of the net. Koivu falling down. Throws it across. No, that's not a high stick. Waist high. Nice deflection by Charlie Coyle. Back against the grain. No chance for Roberto Luongo on that one.
Part of the Brent Burns trade was Charlie Coyle. And he gives Minnesota its first lead, 3:20 into the third period. Henrik Sedin falls down. Burrows gets the puck in around for Daniel. Working on Spurgeon. Tying each other up. Daniel able to get the puck into the corner for Burrows. Back for Daniel Sedin. Out of his reach, and Setaguchi flips the puck out to center. Canucks trying to move back in. Henrik Sedin is checked. Cullen gets the puck out. Coyle's third of the year, if they score it as we saw it, with Stoner and Koivu getting the assists. Here's Alex Burrows in the right wing. Burrows cuts in front with a wrist shot, and reaching in was Ryan Suter to deflect that one over the glass. Murph.
Fellas, the World Baseball Classic continues. Semi-final is tomorrow. Puerto Rico taking on the Dominican Republic or the Netherlands, as those two are playing right now. It's 5 o'clock start time in the Pacific region.
Dominican Republic winning 4-1 over the Netherlands in the 8th inning. I'm multitasking.
Yes, you are.
Ballard steps up to throw a good hit, creates a turnover, hands him with a weak shot off the stick of Backstrom. It is Coyle from Stoner and Koivu at 3:20. The go-ahead goal for the Wild. Now here's Raymond coming out front of the backhand, spins to the forehand, trying to throw the puck in front, but was checked before he could do it. Raymond works to hold it in. Konopka trying to get the puck out, send it up the middle. Canucks have it. Here's Tanev, weak shot, and gloved by the goaltender Backstrom. Tanev had to kind of reach for that puck. He got it too far in front of him, and he's frustrated.
He's shaking his head as he didn't get much on it. But a good job to keep this puck in. And Chris Tanev, as you say, look at how close his hands were together, so he couldn't get much on it. Got it too far away.
That was the first shot of the period for the Canucks. Just over 4.5 minutes in. Trailing 2-1. Sedin's back out with Burrows. Edler and Bieksa on the point. Canucks controlled momentarily off the drop. The Wild come up with the puck, and Clutterbuck brings it out. Cal Clutterbuck chips the puck in, moves in after it. Edler steps into him along the end boards. Burrows couldn't dig the puck out. Heatley has it. Danny Heatley makes a move in front. Brodziak back into the game. Has the puck on the right side. Heatley from the corner. Working on Burrows. Heatley went down. Clutterbuck gets the puck. Heatley again. Round to the other side. Daniel Sedin. Clutterbuck's onto the puck. Wrist shot wide. Down from the point comes Brodin. Now it's sent back. Suter with room. Shoots. And that went off a body and wide of the goal. Might have hit Luongo too. Wild changing while the Canucks work to come up with the puck and get it out. Burrows can't do it. Henrik Sedin hooks it over to Daniel. And he risks a long one in, hoping Henrik can get to it on Brodin. Henrik stops, comes up with the puck. Henrik Sedin in front! What a chance for Pinizzato off the bench, and he's stopped by Backstrom.
Oh boy, there's not much more you could do with that one. Steve Pinizzato's trying to get it on net as quickly as he can. A beautiful pass from Henrik Sedin. Pinizzato on the change, one-times it, and Nick Backstrom. Perfect position and no rebound. And you can see Pinizzato looking skyward. Got good wood on it. Just no luck.
It was a long shift for the Sedins, and Henrik found some extra gas at the end to make the play after they've been hemmed in their own zone for a time. Raymond tracks down a loose puck at center, drops it back to Chris Tanev. Hansen trying to get away from Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Ahead for Raymond, who deflects the puck in. Back goes Torrey Mitchell. Ballard is aggressively pursuing him, and he comes up with the puck. Keith Ballard hooks it around. Evans after it. Tanev moving down from the point as well. It's past him, as he and Evans seemed unclear as to who was going to go after the puck, and Bouchard's able to get to center and tip it in. Ballard got the puck out to center, but no further. He and Coyle mixing it up away from the puck. Tanev collects for Vancouver. We're 6.5 minutes into the third period. Wild leading 2-1. Sestito couldn't take that pass. Wild get it to center to Charlie Coyle. He's checked, and here comes Jordan Schrader. Prosser knocks the puck away from him. Falk goes back for it, works it free to Prosser, sends it ahead, held in by Hamhuis. Long shot, rebound. Weiss couldn't get to it. And Parise plays the puck ahead to Koivu. 7 minutes gone in the third. Hamhuis at his own end of the ice digs the puck free. Sends it ahead for Weiss, who tipped it from his own side of center. This will be an icing call with the fourth line out there, and a face-off upcoming in the Vancouver zone.
Check out PlayNow.com and bet live on any game, including this one. If you gamble, use your game sense.
After 2 periods in the face-off circle, Henrik Sedin was 9 and 8. All the other centers were 3 and 17.
This one was a scrambled draw with the Canucks winding up with the puck. And Garrison able to get to center and tip it in deep, allowing the Canucks to get their change. Whoa, Pinizzotto trying to step in to Brodin when sliding heavily into the corner boards. Mitchell just onside as he moves it. And Torrey Mitchell's shaken up. He's heading to the Minnesota bench. Not sure what happened. Doesn't seem to be too worse for wear, but seemed to be a little off as he headed off. Ryan Suter chips the puck to the corner. Edler there shakes free from one check and works the puck to Higgins. Ahead to Bieksa. Kevin Bieksa offside as he slid the puck into the corner for Max Lapierre. Whistle blows, will step aside. Canucks now down a goal. Minnesota scored the last 2.
Experience the thrill of watching the Canucks play live. Tickets for all home games on sale now, including tomorrow versus the St. Louis Blues. Go to Canucks.com/tickets now.
Still lots of time left, but the Canucks need a goal to get something out of this game. Down 2-1, just under 12 minutes to go in the third. And Edler touched that one with a high stick. The face-off will come outside the Vancouver blue line.
Back-to-back home games with the other team sitting here watching.
St. Louis Blues, who play here tomorrow. And looks like they're going to get Andy McDonald back after missing 10 games. TJ Oshie, though, out of the Blues lineup. Icing call upcoming as Suter goes back for the puck. Here's Murph.
Well, shop and swipe your club card at Safeway today. Watch future Sportsnet telecasts and you could win an all-inclusive trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, courtesy of redtag.ca.
Interested observer, Ryan Kessler. Never want to see the crutches nearby, but that's life for the Canucks right now. Zach Parise from Minnesota. Puck comes free to Burrows. He backhands it out. Daniel Sedin giving chase. Brodin there first. Pulls away from Daniel. Parise at center, checked by Bieksa. And a hand pass called. Henrik Sedin slapping at the puck in frustration.
There's a look at Tom Gilbert, who missed the last game against the Canucks with the flu. This time they say it's a lower body injury. But he picked up a shortened season. Gilbert skated yesterday. They thought he was going to play.
Nate Prosser took his spot in the lineup.
We talked about face-offs, and Ryan Kessler sitting upstairs and look at all the different centers. Henrik taking 17 face-offs and everybody else taking 20 in a collection and not doing very well.
Here's Raymond through center on the left wing. Pass into the middle, eluded both Hansen and Ebbett, but Tanev holds the puck in. Around for Raymond, it got by him. Hansen from the corner. He too couldn't come up with the puck, but he makes a nice pass in front to Ebbett. Knocked knocked away by the Wild, and Bouchard sends Cullen away. Through center with Setaguchi, who takes the pass on the left side. Back in front, Cullen all alone, scores! Give and go, and the Wild lead by 2.
And this is a 2-on-2, and you can see Chris Tanev look over, and Keith Ballard didn't read this one very well. Okay, this is a 2-on-2. Tanev's got his man, and you can see Ballard lets his man go. And Matt Cullen's going right to the net. Tanev takes his man, and he can't believe how wide open Matt Cullen is as Keith Ballard tried to body check Cullen, and Cullen went right by him.
If you're going to step up, better make sure you eliminate the player. And Cullen was able to slide by, move in for his 4th of the season. And now it is distinct advantage Wild, leading by 2 in this battle for Northwest Division supremacy. Sestito sends one in front, gloved down by Zucker. And he brings the puck out and tips it into the Vancouver zone. Wild slam one on goal. Blockers save Luongo. Dale Weiss gets the puck and clears it out. Pierre-Marc Bouchard gets the second assist on the Cullen goal. He's got a couple of helpers in this game. 3-1 Wild. Past the halfway mark of the 3rd period. Kevin Bieksa to Steve Pinizzotto. Gets the puck ahead for Max Lapierre. Lapierre tips it in deep. Back goes Brodin. Higgins checks him, but Brodin on the second attempt works the puck to the side. This one held in by Pinizzotto. Taken out of the play by Brodin. Hamhuis can move down aggressively from the blue line. Gets the puck in the corner. Tries to center. Taken away by the Wild. And Hamhuis hustling back as Brodziak from center flips the puck into the Vancouver zone. Hamhuis left wing at center. Backhands the puck in, and Stoner goes back. Sedin's there to converge on the Wild players and try to come up with a puck, but it's off a couple of sticks and out of play for a whistle. Wild with a couple of goals here in the 3rd. Charlie Coyle on a deflection. Matt Cullen on a give and go.
Talk about a hard luck season for David Booth.
Entire time with the Canucks been something like that. Remember the injury against Colorado last year? Cost him a chunk of time. Under 9 minutes to go in the 3rd. The Canucks trailing by 2. Daniel Sedin got away with a little hold there. Now Burrows steals at center, moves in, drops. Henrik shoots wide. Edler holds the puck in. Burrows tips it for Daniel Sedin into the corner for Henrik. Up to Daniel. Henrik went down. Daniel has the puck again. Henrik pokes it along for Burrows. Back for Henrik Sedin. Didn't get through. Burrows has the puck once more. Bobbled it. Clutterbuck back to collect the puck. And a weak clearing attempt held in by Bieksa. Here's Burrows towards the goal. Tipped wide. Daniel Sedin on the right wing. Henrik Sedin. Checked by Suter, who's had another strong game. He gets the puck ahead, and it's off Bieksa's stick and into the seats behind the Minnesota bench. Mentioned the homestand wraps up tomorrow night, and then the Canucks hit the road, and they'll be down in the desert. Canucks and the Wild on Sportsnet. Our next telecast is Thursday. Coverage beginning at 6:30 from Glendale. The start of 3 and 5 on the road as the Canucks visit Phoenix, LA, and Colorado, all on Sportsnet Pacific.
Rare Saturday game on Sportsnet Pacific, Saturday afternoon.
Staples Center. We had a look at the standings to start the show tonight. Canucks coming in 7th in the West. Down 2 in this one with 8 minutes to go in the 3rd. Andrew Ebbett passes to center to Jannik Hansen. Dumps one in. Raymond after it. Slap shot. Pad saved by Backstrom. Raymond broke his stick. Hansen's onto the puck. Trying to get it back to Hamhuis. Now he does. Nobody in front, so Hamhuis dishes to Hansen. Long wrist shot. Knocked down by Backstrom through the screen of Ebbett. He's able to fall on the puck for the whistle.
Canucks trying to generate anything. Nick Backstrom has been very good. They get traffic in front, but Backstrom has really done a nice job finding the puck. Finds it here. able to make that save. Andrew Ebbett trying to tip it in front, didn't quite make contact. You can see Ebbett shaking his head. He's very close to tipping that one.
Lapierre trying to draw this one back to Edler, but it's Koivu winning the face-off. Suter comes up with the puck, sends it off the glass and down. That one rolls right through to Luongo. Bounced up off his stick, and he'll have to cover with Charlie Coyle right there. 7:22 to go in the third.
Ryan Suter and Brodin were out there again for that defensive zone face-off. Now they're going up. After 2 periods, Ryan Suter had played over 19 minutes. Played 10:22 in the second period.
Brodin not far behind.
No.
17 and change. Shot by Prosser, stopped by Luongo.
And I had our statistician, Gianni, keeping track of how many times Ryan Suter was hit. The Canucks were able to hit him in 2 periods. 19-20, he was out there. He was hit once in 2 periods. I know he's out there against the Sedins a lot, but still. He's out there that much. You try and hit Ryan Suter.
Lapierre offside.
He's a hard guy to hit. He's so mobile and he sees the ice so well. And yet, here he comes back onto the ice. And you can see he leads the team in scoring besides playing as many minutes as he does. And he leads the NHL in ice time. It makes you wonder, the Suter-Weber combination, who was the brains on that duo? Jay Weber has struggled a little bit this season without Ryan Suter there.
Suter's really picked up 14 points his last 10 games. Here's Weiss turning on the Jets at center. Puck knocked away from him. Wild getting a penalty here. So here's the opening the Canucks need as Setaguchi put the puck over the glass, and a power play upcoming for Vancouver.
You look at Devin Setaguchi's stick as he goes to the penalty box. He's got that sand wedge, the real funny curve. He can snap the puck as a shooter, but you can see it gets right on the hook and over the glass. Got it curved with an angle from the bottom of the blade to the top. There you can see, very good shot from our crack camera crew on the hook of Devin Setaguchi's stick and why he's in the penalty box.
He was in the box when Henrik Sedin ended the Canucks power play drought in the second period. Canucks are hoping he's in the box for their next goal. And an ominous time of the penalty for Devin Setaguchi as he goes off at 13-13 of the third. Here's number 33, Henrik Sedin, passing to his brother Daniel. Gets the puck back to Edler. Garrison, one-timer, stopped by Backstrom, rebound cleared, past Garrison and down the ice. 90 seconds to go in the Vancouver power play. First unit stays out. Edler slowly out of his own zone. Elects to pass ahead for Garrison. Couldn't take it cleanly, but he tracks the puck down in the corner. Works it free to Edler. Daniel Sedin missed the puck. And that's going to allow Freese a chance to do something with it. Edler moves over to check him. Nobody at the left point. Garrison now slides over as 3 Canucks are in battling for the puck. Henrik Sedin had it momentarily. Now to play it in deep for Daniel. Try to reverse for Henrik. Suter read that well. But the Canucks get the puck back. Henrik to Edler. To the goal. Blocked in front by Suter. Daniel Sedin from the corner. Back to Garrison. Daniel takes his pass, cuts towards the front, sends one for Henrik, couldn't tip it on goal. Edler diving out, trying to hold the puck in. It went off sticks simultaneously, so the face-off stays in the Minnesota zone.
Here's the flip pass to the front of the net, tipped, but so much traffic. Brodin again in good position on Jannik Hansen and able to tip that one to the corner.
Another clear for the Wild. Hughes back for the puck. There's under 30 seconds to go in this Vancouver power play. Hughes rushes the puck forward. Pass disrupted, and that forced the play offside.
Second group goes out on the power play. You lose the faceoff, you're in big trouble. You only have 30-35 seconds after the Sedins do their work. You lose that faceoff in the offensive zone, and your chance in the B group power play goes right down the drain.
Trying to draw the puck back to Hamhuis. Canucks are down to 20 seconds to go in this power play. Raymond steps in on the left wing. Pass to Burrows. Hamhuis to Bieksa. Now Hamhuis. Evans in front as Bieksa takes the pass on the right wing. Hooks it back. Hamhuis with room. Near side for Raymond. And the fans frustrated that Hamhuis didn't shoot that puck. Bieksa with the penalty now over. Backhands one wide. Wild clear the puck around. Hamhuis holds it in, puts it in front. Intercepted and cleared by Jared Spurgeon. Canucks with just one shot on that power play. And still down 3-1 with under 4.5 minutes to go. Koivu to Parise. He's in on the right wing. Zach Parise in front for Coyle. Knocking that one away was Keith Ballard. Pinizzotto tried to rush the puck out. Couldn't do it. Bieksa pokes it around for Ballard, who shoots the puck off the glass and into the seats. And the whistle blows with 4:07 to go in the third. Minnesota looking to move 2 points up on the Vancouver Canucks.
Canucks hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Get your favorite sub made just the way you say. Subway, think fresh, eat fresh.
Canucks in grave danger of making it 5 wins in their last 16 games. Down 3-1 here with just over 4 minutes to go in the third. And without any white knight on the horizon, savior to come into the lineup, it's going to be within the group. They're going to have to try to figure it out. If not here in this final 4 minutes, then moving forward for sure. And here's a chance to the side for Setoguchi, in front for Bouchard. That's broken up. And Burrows brings the puck to center, but never did handle it cleanly. The Wild bring it back in. Setoguchi with room. Slap shot along with the save. And the rebound comes to Daniel Sedin. Ahead for Henrik. Across for Edler. Edler in on the left wing. Wide with a wrist shot. Stick save Backstrom, and he freezes the puck with 3:33 to go in the third. And 33s into a bit of a pushing match with Suter after the whistle.
And again, Nick Backstrom, no rebound. That shot by Edler, that's all he was looking for, was a low shot, try to get a rebound, and Backstrom has been very, very tidy around his goal crease. That one about 6 inches away from his stick.
As Alex Edler watches, Andrew Ebbett takes his face off in the Minnesota zone. Ebbett fighting to hold the puck in, but Jared Spurgeon brings it out and backhands into the Vancouver zone. Jason Garrison ahead to Dan Hamhuis. Hansen trying to work the puck to Raymond. That's broken up. Garrison gambling a bit at center. Clutterbuck is by him, but taken out of the play by Hamhuis. Ebbett sends it around for Mason Raymond. 3 minutes to go in the third. Raymond nicely up to Ebbett, waiting for teammates to get to the front of the net. Then there was no passing lane. Try to get it down the boards. Prosser dumps that the other way. Tanev hustling back in front of Coyle. 2:40 to go. As Tanev throws the puck to the near side, Hamhuis drops it back to him. And at what point do you elect to bring the goalie to the bench? Luongo looking there as Tanev rushes the puck to center, stripped of it. Played back in by Parise. Edler starts up. Pass to Pinizzotto, and the puck wound up in the Minnesota players bench.
Play of the Game is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Get your favorite sub made just the way you say. Subway, think fresh, eat fresh. Second period, Canucks power play. It had been cold until this. Garrison shot off Daniel right to Henrik. His 8th of the season. Breaks the power play slump, and that's your play of the game.
The joy was fleeting. Minnesota tied it on a power play goal of its own, has added 2 here in the third. 3-1 Wild. Here's Brodin, who got that power play goal to equalize, clearing the puck out. It'll be icing, and maybe this is the cue to pull out all the stops and get Luongo on for 6 attackers. Well, it will take a miracle finish for the Canucks, but no matter what, you'll find out what happened with Connected. Here's Don.
Hope you're enjoying the game, folks. Yes, Gary Volk and I will have a full post-game show after the Canucks and Wild. Back to John and John.
The net is lonely. The Canucks pull the goalie with 1:57 to go, trailing by 2. And they win the face-off. Garrison fighting the puck, able to tap it down the board for Henrik Sedin, tied up by Suter. Burrows trying to help out, comes out with the puck. Had to contend with the linesman in the corner. Now Daniel Sedin gets it with some room. Daniel with a wrist shot, stopped by Backstrom. Rebound comes towards the left point. Hanhus shoots from there. That was blocked by Cullen. Hanhus taken down. Canucks have the puck though. Burrows making moves behind the net. Sends it back. Garrison, slap shot, deflected, stop. Rebound comes to Daniel Sedin. 90 seconds to go. Daniel leaves for Henrik. Side of the net, Burrows looking in front. Back for Henrik Sedin. Canucks need 2. Got to get the first one in a hurry. Henrik checks. Puck comes to the line, held in by Garrison. Bouchard broke his stick. He hits to the bench as Hanhus controls. Sends one in front and off Burrows' stick. Henrik Sedin from the corner. Here's Hansen, shoots off the mask of the goaltender, I think. Rebound put through the crease and up the near side. Puck comes to the blue line. Garrison holds it in. Wrists it to the far corner. We're in the final minute. Hansen with a shot. Stop. Rebound. Burrows over top of the net. Henrik. Here's Daniel Sedin leaving for Henrik. Canucks owning the puck. Hansen broke his stick. Now takes out Heatley and is able to kick the puck to the corner. Hansen will hustle to the bench. Canucks are down to 40 seconds. The time is running out. Daniel Sedin on the left wing. Back to Dan Hanhus. Other side. Garrison shoots just wide. Daniel Sedin off the left wing again. Back to Garrison. Rolling puck. Lets it go off the target. Henrik. Daniel can't get the shot through. Puck is cleared. And it'll be icing. But by the time Garrison gets there, only 17.1 seconds remain, and it looks like Minnesota for sure is going to win this divisional showdown.
Well, Nick Backstrom has been very good, and we talked about Roberto's positioning, and Nick Backstrom gets in the way. Shoulders up right off the forehead of his mask. Shoulders up, square, doesn't flinch. Able to make the save.
Penalties in that last sequence as Burrows and Suter have both gone to the box.
They're hacking and whacking in front of the net, and even after the whistle.
And now a timeout call, I believe. Prolonging the inevitable. But it'll be 5-on-4.
Well, here's Ryan Suter and Alex Burrows in front. They push from behind, and there's Suter returning the favor. Could have been a few called on that. How many cross checks for each player? And they both end up in the penalty box. Frustrating night for the Canucks again, and John, we talked about it, the 60-minute game. 40 minutes, the Canucks were very good. Start the third period, first 8 minutes of the third period, not very good.
Coyle goal deflection, the Cullen 3-1 goal, real breakdown. And now Stoner off the draw. Backhands the puck ahead, gloved down by Edler, wrists one on goal, backs from the save, he hangs on. And 10.1 seconds remaining in this one. They're not done yet in front. Hansen and Brodziak.
Canucks have been credited with 35 shots on goal, make that 36 now, and have 23 blocked and 20 missed. So you're looking at a night where they've thrown everything at the net, not much luck around the net.
79 attempts to 39 for the Minnesota Wild. And this will be the last clear of the puck. And we no longer have to use the word tiebreak when we talk about Minnesota leading the Northwest. It is a 2-point advantage for Mike Yo's team as the Wild come to Rogers Arena and knock off the Canucks 3-1.
And again, the Canucks finally get a power play goal, but the Minnesota Wild come right back with a power play goal of their own. And Their power play has been very good. When you're on the road, you get that, keep it even till the third period and hope you get a break, and the Wild did.
Canucks winners in the first game of the homestand. Lost Saturday night to Detroit. Lose this one 3-1 to Minnesota, and no rest for the weary, because after Nick Backstrom and the Wild skate off, the Canucks will get set to prepare for St. Louis. The Blues are here tomorrow, but this one's final with the Wild winning it 3-1 over Vancouver.
It was a battle for top spot in the Northwest, and just as was the case in St. Paul 8 days ago, the Minnesota Wild come out on top, this time a 3-1 final. Minnesota sits atop the Northwest. Plenty to come from Rogers Arena. Connected is next with Don Taylor.